This is my passion. This is Ike's Outdoors. Hey guys, Ike here from IkesOutdoors.com. Here today to do the next video in our how to set up a bow series. And on this one we're going to do our first step of tuning. And what I'm going to be doing in this one is I'm going to French tune this bow. And what French tuning is going to accomplish is I'm going to get my sight and my rest, everything squared up good left and right. And this is why I didn't really bother to do much more than eyeball this rest whenever I set it up, because I can eyeball it and I can measure it and I can really get it down to a fine, just to a gnat's butt, and that's just gonna be it's not gonna be good enough actually when it comes time to actually start shooting, because every bow is just a little bit different. So you can set these bows to your manufacturer's suggestion all day long, and then when you get it out and start shooting it, you're gonna find at 20 yards your left and right is good. But as you go back to 30 yards, 40 yards, and 50 yards, your arrow will start wandering off to the right or to the left. Your left and right will start going. And what that is that's a sign that your arrow rest is not centered up. And your arrow is actually, instead of pointing straight at the target, it's pointing one way or another. The further back you get, the more exaggerated that it is. So if you find yourself in that situation where at 20 yards your left and right's perfect, 30 yards, 40 yards, you start getting off one direction, means your rest is not centered. And to center this rest, we're going to do really two steps. We're going to shoot at 9 feet and we're going to shoot at 9 yards. And the first time I'm going to shoot at 9 feet, I'm going to move my sight. When I go back to 9 yards, I'm going to move my rest. Setup on this is pretty easy. We'll give you a good close look at this in a second. But basically what I've done is I've got I've got my target out here, and I've got just a string. I've just got a piece of paracord lined up on that thing, and we'll zoom in good and tight so you can see it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be trying to hit that paracord. Okay, so my first shot here is going to be from 9 feet and 3 yards. 9 feet, 3 yards. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be trying to split that string. This close, I should be able to split it, I would hope. And if I can't, I'm going to make an adjustment to the left and right on my sight. I don't care where my up and down's at, just my left and right. Okay, so I nailed that string on my first shot. If I wouldn't have nailed that string on my first shot, I would have moved my sight pin with the arrow. So if I would have shot to the right, I would have moved my sight pin to the right. If I would have shot to the left, I would have moved my sight pin to the left. And I would have done this in very, very tiny increments, 1/16 of an inch at a time. Just barely moving it left and right until I got it lined up. If you want to do this multiple times, I really suggest you do it. I feel like that was a really good shot. I'm going to go ahead and do it multiple times to make sure. But my next step is to move back to 9 feet, or to 9 yards, and shoot from there, and I'll be making adjustments to my rest from there. Okay, so now we're back at 9 yards, and when I shoot from here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to try to bust that string, and if I shoot and miss the string, I'm going to make an adjustment to my rest. Okay, so I'm pretty close on that one. I shot just a little bit to the right. I'm going to go ahead and pull arrows and I'm going to shoot again. I would say, okay, so you can see there, I'm really, really close, but I'm off to the right just a little bit. So I'm going to take a set of Allen wrenches here. I'm going to loosen up my rest, and I'm going to actually move it just a little bit to the left. On this step, I'm going to go away from my arrow. Okay, so I moved the string that time, so I'm getting really, really close now. Okay, so you can see that last shot, I actually hit the string and actually busted it. I actually hit it, I didn't bust it, but and I did that by adjusting my rest. So what I've done now is my rest is centered and everything's lined up. So your first step in French tuning is to go back to 3 yards or 9 feet and to shoot and try to bust that string. And if you don't, you need to make adjustments with your sight and you need to follow your arrow. Your next step is to move back to 9 yards and try to bust that string, and if you don't, you move your rest and you go away from your arrow. So that's how I French tune this bow. That's why I eyeballed this rest in the first place, is because that really gets it truly lined up and truly centered on this bow, and it's going to be different from bow to bow. So that's how you French tune. Our next step, I'm going to go ahead and start broadhead tuning this bow and getting it ready to hunt and getting it really fine tuned from there. So for more product reviews, how-to videos, be sure to check out our website, IkesOutdoors.com. Appreciate you guys watching.